White flag raised. That off. And the Clonmel Oil Chase. A field of 4, over 2.5 miles and 14 fences, and it's the race outsider Senecia who reaches the first in the lead from Intense Raffles, Gentleman De Mee, and dropped out at the back is Il Etait Temps. Fence number 2, Senecia, jumped it big, has opened up a good 5-length advantage over Gentleman De Mee. Third is Intense Raffles, and fourth of the 4, Il Etait Temps. 2 circuits in front of them as they turn away to fence number 3. It is Senecia and Phillip Enright out in front of Gentleman De Mee, Mark Walsh. Intense Raffles, J.J. Slevin last but 1 with the back marker, Il Etait Temps and Paul Townend. Linking up with fence number 3 on the uphill run towards the back straight. Senecia followed by Gentleman De Mee. Intense Raffles, the best turned out winner. And finally, Il Etait Temps. Turning up the far side to fences 4 through to 6. Senecia up and over by 5 lengths to Gentleman De Mee, who's raced on from the 2 greys at the back, Il Etait Temps and Intense Raffles. On to the 5th. Senecia followed by Gentleman De Mee, Il Etait Temps and Intense Raffles. Over that one, the fence before the ditch. Senecia, a good 6 lengths in front of Gentleman De Mee. Definite running third now is Il Etait Temps. Relegated to be last of the quartet, Intense Raffles. They're in single file, finishing off their jumping in the back straight first time. Senecia, the clear leader from Gentleman De Mee, who's followed by stable companion Il Etait Temps, with the back marker Intense Raffles. Making the descent back to the 2 fences in the straight second time. And the day's centerpiece, the grade 2, Clonmel Oil Chase. Senecia, followed by Gentleman De Mee, Il Etait Temps, has moved away from Intense Raffles. Round the bend they come at the end of the circuit. Senecia straightens on up, leading the way to Gentleman De Mee, who's closed upon by Il Etait Temps. And fourth of the 4 is Intense Raffles. Heading for fences 7 and 8, bringing them well past the halfway stage. Senecia with a reduced advantage of 4 lengths over Gentleman De Mee, and then Il Etait Temps with the back marker Intense Raffles. Coming to the fence, that'll be the last one next time. Senecia at this one pops it in a lead of 4 to 5 lengths over Gentleman De Mee, Il Etait Temps, and finally Intense Raffles nudged along the back marker. They head out on their second and final circuit with 6 more fences left to jump. Senecia and Phillip Enright, as of yet to be headed, followed by Gentleman De Mee, Mark Walsh, and then Il Etait Temps and Paul Townend. And lastly, Intense Raffles, J.J. Slevin. At 6 out, Senecia pops it, heads towards the back straight, followed by Gentleman De Mee, Il Etait Temps, and Intense Raffles. 5 fences to go as they climb up into the back straight. Senecia has re-established a 6 to 7 length advantage over Gentleman De Mee, Il Etait Temps. And length separates the second and third out in front of Intense Raffles. Going to the middle fence in the back straight, this is 4 from the finish. Senecia in front from the start. Over that one, Il Etait Temps jumps into second, past stable companion Gentleman De Mee. Struggling on is Intense Raffles, the last ditch, and 3 from the finish. Senecia with setting off in pursuit Il Etait Temps, who's opened up an advantage over Gentleman De Mee, and they're a long way cleared of Intense Raffles. Good run on the flat now before they'll encounter the second last fence, and it is Senecia with eating into the leader's advantage Il Etait Temps, and then Gentleman De Mee and Intense Raffles is well behind as they're racing back for the final 2 fences. The Clonmel Oil Chase, and it's Senecia with looming on the outside Il Etait Temps, gone a long way clear of Gentleman De Mee and Intense Raffles. Senecia, the long-time front-runner, has been taken on the bend by Il Etait Temps, who breezes alongside, well cleared of Gentleman De Mee. In line for the last two fences, Il Etait Temps, the leader. From Senecia, who's trying to hang on in there towards the inside. Il Etait Temps easily opens up, coming to 2 out. From Senecia, who can't offer any more, the second last. Il Etait Temps over from Senecia, well clear of the other pair, Gentleman De Mee and Intense Raffles into the final fence. It is Il Etait Temps over. Is winning a 4th straight Clonmel Oil Chase for Paul Townend, and Willie Mullins is back with a bang in the day's centerpiece. Second is Senecia, Intense Raffles and Gentleman De Mee.
Well, it looked a very straightforward task for him on paper, and that's exactly how it proved. About as stress-free as you'll get. Il Etait Temps, 9-2 on, has won the Clonmel Oil Chase, added his name to an illustrious roll of honour, and continues Willie Mullins' stranglehold on this graded contest. Took the measure of the long-time leader, Senecia, early in the home straight, Ruby, and just popped his way over the final 2 fences. I'd imagine Connections would be thrilled. Are you happy enough with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely, Gary, and he'll improve a good bit further on. Got in deep to the last and got out over it. Tricky one. Senecia was balling along in front, and Paul elected to go after Phillip Enright as they headed for the 3rd last fence, but he was halfway down the hill, and I'd say he was thinking to himself, I don't even think I needed to do that. He came alive with him when he got halfway down the hill. He goes by Gentleman De Mee here, and you knew when Mark Walsh didn't go with Paul Townend that he was hanging on to very little. Intense Raffles even, who never really got going or got on the bridle, eventually runs by Gentleman De Mee, who got very tired, but Il Etait Temps pinged that fence, and Paul gets closer to Phillip Enright. Il Etait Temps, as he runs downhill, really comes alive with Paul, and he ranges up beside him in a matter of strides, and it was all over very quickly. It'll be a nice pipe opener for him as he'll head for the Tingle Creek. I'm sure we'll see some of the opposition that will face him there tomorrow in Exeter, and maybe next Friday at Cheltenham in the Slur Chase. And I know some people kind of will say these races so uncompetitive, but I think when you let him have the benefit of that run there and winning a race, and you get the winner of the Haldon Gold Cup maybe and the winner of the Slur, you'll end up with a crack in Tingle Creek, and I think that's ultimately what racing's about, isn't it?
Yeah, let's hope it is a really good addition to the Tingle Creek. I think you won it 4 times. Does this fella strike you as having all the right credentials? He obviously proved himself over the course with that win in April time. Do you ride him at home at all, actually?
Never. I don't think I've ever sat in him. No. He's probably too good to let me ride him, Gary, but he's... no, does he strike me? Yeah, he's winning the Celebration Chase, was a good performance, but I think that's a race that has often thrown up funny results myself in the past, and it'll be a good question for him in the Tingle Creek.
I think to win that on the back of the preparation he had just speaks volumes about his ability. And to me, I know today it's probably not a day to make too many judgments on it, but I thought his jumping in Sandown that day was excellent as well for a horse that has thrown in the odd clanger maybe earlier on in his career.
Look, he's a very good horse, there's no doubt about that. Senecia, Intense Raffles, Gentleman De Mee is out on his feet at the back there, but look, he's a very good horse. He's going the right direction. Yeah, it's a funny one, the Tingle Creek. Yeah, I'm not sure.
You're not entirely convinced. Interesting to see how the market shapes up for that race once the dust settles on what happens at Exeter tomorrow. But Il Etait Temps wrapping up a fine day's work here for the top team of Mullins and Townend, and Hollywood Racing and Barnane Stud, the proud owners of Il Etait Temps. Smashing horse. He's won our big one.
Joining an illustrious roll of honour in his own right, Gary, the likes of Doran's Pride winning it 4 times, Beef or Salmon, Edredon Blur, Gold Cup winner in War of Attrition. In more recent times, the likes of Sizing Europe, Kemboy, Duvan, and Willie Mullins' stranglehold on the race just continues. It's 4 straight. If Joseph O'Brien hadn't won it with Fakir Dudari in 2021, it'd be many more straight. And that was everything you wanted to see from Il Etait Temps. He was a 9-2 one-shot. He should have been, and he's won as he likes. That's a 4th straight Grade 1 win for him. First one out of novice company. Sorry, Grade 2 at this point, but you get the gist. Paul Townend, Willie Mullins, Hollywood Racing, and Barnane Stud, the winning owners. Senecia has run a fine race from the front, 22-1.
Paul Townend has won both our feature events here at Clonmel today, including the Clonmel Oil Chase on the odds-on favourite Il Etait Temps. And Paul, that was your first time riding him for quite some time, but you, like the rest of us, saw what he did at Sandown back in the spring. How good a feel did he give you out there?
Yeah, lovely. He settled really well early on. Just jumped in my hands a little bit down the hill, which can happen here the first time, but he spat it out again. And I was hoping Mark would bring me a bit further, and when I went past him, he got competitive catching Phillip and probably took it up further or earlier than I wanted to, but he settled in a matter of strides and was able to coast home for a nice win, so it was a good starting point for him.
And one eye obviously already on the Tingle Creek before today. That's a race you've yet to get on the CV. Do you think you might have the perfect candidate in this fella?
I suppose the way he handled the place last year, the speed he went by me after the pond fence would encourage you to go back there anyway. And it's good to have the run under his belt going there, that he's got his eye back in again. You know, he'd just the one run in a long time. So no, look, it'd be a lovely race to win. We were runner-up in it a few times, so I'd love to go back there and try and have a crack at it. Yeah.
He seems to have turned into a pretty assured jumper, this fella, dare I say, at this stage.
Don't put the mockers on him, will you? No, he's figured out, but he's grown up a lot in every way, matured plenty. He's not big, but he's his own way of jumping. Yeah.
And Spindlery, Paul, I presume, did nothing less than you expected from her earlier on. Give us your take on it.
Yeah, I was very happy to pop along in front. She was quite idle in front and taking in everything. It was a dash for three furlongs, 3.5 furlongs, but she did it really well. She's a very good jumper, and it's a pleasure to go to the start on one like that you can just pop out and make the run or take a lead on. You know, it's an open book when you get down there. So she started this year like she ended last year, and she's a very high class mare. Yeah,
I know life will probably get a bit tougher from now on. The owner fancies a crack against the geldings, maybe even a tilt at a Gold Cup further down the line. Could she turn into that sort of horse?
She's going that way, isn't she? You know, like where will she stop improving? She's a long way to go to get to that level, I suppose, but aim high, isn't it, and see what happens. She did herself no harm today, anyway.
That's for sure. Just before we let you go, a word on the governor, who I gather is making his way back from Australia as we speak. If I told you after you won a maiden hurdle on Ethical Diamond that he'd win the Breeders' Cup Turf later on that year, what would you have said?
I don't know what I'd have said. I probably wouldn't have had a few quid in him anyway, that's for sure. No, it was amazing. I think everyone got a huge thrill out of it. Got a brilliant ride off of Dylan, and brave move bringing him there. But no, it was class. It was cool. You know, it's
nothing's impossible with that man,
isn't it? You know, it sums it up. But no, it was brilliant, huge achievement for him, and he seemed to have got a kick out of it anyway.
Might be a while before you get another go in Ethical Diamond, maybe, right?
I don't want to lose a few stone, I'd say, if I want to ride him ever again. Hopefully he doesn't send too many after Ethical Diamond.
Well, thanks for your time. Well done today,
Gary. Cheers.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.